we are here now. This is Sport Zone on Joy Prime. Of course, the show is sponsored by Hunters and, of course, also Syntex Tank. My name is Fentio Tahiru Fentio. I'm joined tonight by Sichofe, Philip Achrim, and Daniel Koranteng at different sides of the show. How are you? I can't even reach where you are. Okay. Daniel is gone. He's decided to wear a tie today.
Yeah,
come and do a special presentation. I'm not sure what he has to talk about.
Koranteng.
Yeah, but on the menu today, of course, we are talking deeply about the new GPL fixtures that have been released at the Labada Beach Hotel. Joy Sports held a very special program. It's a thought leadership program on the low attendance to Ghana Premier League, trying to understand why the fans aren't going to the stadium. We've asked that question here before on the show, and some of you have given us some very interesting perspectives. We came up with a survey, and some of you have failed that survey, and we presented our findings. That was on the Joy News channel at the Labada Beach Hotel. We brought together a panel of experts to talk about how we can get the fans back to the stadium, how the clubs can come up with creative ways of ensuring that we get the fans back to the stadium. And that coincided with the day that the Ghana Premier League fixtures have been released. So it's exciting for me. RTU, of course, are playing their first game against Harsafo. So Harsafo going to Tamale for the first game. Defending champions, Mediama Sporting Club, they will open their campaign against Accra Lions. Kotoko will play Heart of Lions. So that fixture has a lot of history in it. And that's how Heart of Lions have been welcomed back to the Premier League with a massive fixture against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. There you see match day one's fixtures on your screen there. Ultimately, a lot of those fixtures, you see Great Olympics versus Bafakwa, Brekum Chelsea, BBN Gold Stars, Samates against the General Stars, Legon Cities against Corella, and Mediama against Accra Lions, as I indicated. Also coming up on the show, we'll talk about Chelsea's pre-season success. They are Premier League Summer Series winners. Are that giving us any invitations or indications of what's to come this upcoming season? I don't know, but we show you some highlights from those games. Manchester United were also involved in pre-season. Their pre-season hasn't exactly been that smooth. They've lost some, 2 specifically, and they've won some, 1 specifically against Arsenal Football Club. But that's not the story. The story is Andre Onana going absolutely ballistic on his teammate. Of course, Harry Maguire. Many people think that he's being a little too cheap and taking shots at Harry Maguire because he's an easy target, and that shouldn't be happening. So we'll talk about that as well on the show, and some transfers. But I would like to begin the show today, tonight, with a special presentation from Daniel Koranteng, who has been putting together reasons why he thinks Barcelona have a terrible team, and his presentation couldn't be worse timed, because it's coming just a day after Barcelona absolutely demolished Real Madrid in preseason and looking like the team to beat in Spain. But Daniel thinks that they don't have a team, especially their defense. Daniel, riddle me.
Completely ignore what Fentio Tahiru said. I never said Barcelona have a terrible team. The fact of the matter is that I genuinely feel like Barcelona are the closest to being the perfect team. Structurally, I think what they did last season was next to brilliant. And if they had better personnel, they could easily match what Manchester City is doing. But what looked like a success in their defense last season, for me, I don't think they can repeat it next season. Based on the personnel that they have, and based on some hidden numbers also. So I name it Barcelona's hidden defensive problems. Now, on the face of things, Barca had a fantastic defense. Last season, they conceded just 20 goals in the La Liga. That was the best, on paper, the least goals conceded when it comes to the top 5 leagues in Europe. Look at the shots they conceded. 338, 99 shots on target the entire season. That was also the best in the top 5 leagues. But when you go deeper, that's when it starts becoming. Now, this was the first red flag that I saw. So the reason why people ask me, if you look at something on the surface, what will prompt you into going to dig deeper? Now, when Barcelona faced Manchester United in the Europa League last season, during the build-up to the game, weeks before the game, I was looking at their form in the La Liga, and I was quite disturbed, and I felt like they could give Man United problems. But after those 2 games, I saw a bigger picture, and I asked myself, when you look at Barca in La Liga, and you compare that to what they did in Europe, in the Champions League and the Europa League, there was a huge disparity. And football is very scientific, it's not by luck. So something must have been wrong somewhere. So that is why I started digging deeper. Now, this is the first red flags that hit me. If you look at the gap that Barca had in terms of their shot on target conceded, the gap that they had between themselves and the second place team. Yet, when it came to percentages of their shot on target percentages, that is a percentage of shots that
resulted in goals.
Not in goals, as in that were on target, as against the ones the shots
that were
conceded.
Off target.
They dropped to 3rd. So for me, I'm asking myself, why is a team that is so good at keeping teams at bay in terms of taking shots, but when it comes to on target and you weight per percentage, they are dropping to 3rd. 3rd on paper is good. But again, when you look at the raw numbers and you look at how much they had gapped teams in the general sense of things, as in shots conceded in general, then it started giving me a bit of problem.
Isn't that because maybe the shots that they are preventing, they're doing such a good job that the shots that are getting on target must be so good in order to get on target? So
let me just go on to explain. So in essence, they are, in fact, per the numbers, they are considered, they considered a lead shot on goal.
Yes.
So whether those on target, whether those blocked.
Shots
when it comes
goal,
to when it comes to shots on target, shots that they are coming towards the goalkeeper. When you look at the percentage of that, then they drop to number 3.
Okay.
So in terms of raw numbers, you expect that if they are conceding least amount of shots, such a small amount of shots, then it should also correspond with the shot on target percentage. But that's not what we saw.
Okay.
Now, when you look at their the registered goals minus the XG, as in the goals that they conceded minus the XG they were supposed to concede, it was minus 16. So in essence, that's 16.8. So let's say 17 goals. So in essence, last season, Barcelona were supposed to concede an extra 17 goals. If you look at Ter Stegen's goals minus XG, as in goals conceded minus XG, he kept 8 goals away. He prevented 8 goals. So his was minus 8. So half of those goals...
He outperformed his XG by 8.
By 8. Yeah. So if you take 8 away from this, 8 away from 17, that's like 9. So it's either it was extremely poor finishing, it can come with goal line clearances, things like that. But when you combine the whole, per the clarity of chances, Barca was supposed to have conceded, and this is just the league, this is just 17 more goals. Now if you add that 17 to the 20 goals they've conceded, that is 37 goals they've conceded, and that makes them a very, top club in terms of how they, if you compare that to Man City, to Arsenal, to, it takes them along that level. And that doesn't show how good their defense is also. But when you look at Ter Stegen's save rate in the league, his save percentage rate in the league, it was 84%. And this is the highest we've seen Barcelona do since Pep Guardiola's team of 2011. The season they won the Champions League with Messi beating Man U 3-1. Yes, 2010-2011. Victor Valdez. Yeah. That was the highest Barcelona have achieved since then. So that just shows you how immense their goalkeeper was. But I usually don't like to use just the save rate percentage to judge how good a goalkeeper is, because the quality of shots also come in. If somebody gets a one-on-one and he plays a team effort and I save it, it's very different from if somebody has a one and he fires a ball and that is heading for the top corner and claw it out. It all comes down to a save, but the post shot XG is higher for the one going to the top corner than the one coming straight at me. Now, this is when the disparity starts showing itself. So Barcelona in the league, they average 8 shots conceded in every game. That's 8 shots conceded in general. But when it comes to shots on targets, they conceded 2.6 in the La Liga. When it went to the Champions League, they were conceding 12 shots conceded, so that goes up. And then 5 shots on target.
That's also on the high.
On the high. But if you look at the average possession, 64% in the league, 65% in the league. So that's when I started seeing this is football football is scientific, it's not by luck. Structurally, they are doing exactly what they are doing in the league, But the level of quality in the Champions League is very different from that in the La Liga. So in as much as in the La Liga, they were supposed to concede 17 extra goals, but based on excellent goalkeeping and just poor finishing, they post the numbers that they post. In the Champions League, players are not going to miss those chances. Now, this is the average goals they conceded per the competitions they played.
Okay.
In total, they conceded 12 goals in the Champions League in 6 games. That's an average of 2 goals per game.
True.
In the Europa League, they faced Man United twice. They conceded 4 goals. That's another 2 goals per game. But in the league, 20 goals, that's 0.5. So on the face of things, in the league, they were much better. But as I've told you, the post-shot XG minus the goals that they conceded was supposed to be an extra 17. So that would have taken this number to about 1 point something if they had conceded, or just 0.9, just about 1 shot per game. Now, you ask the question, how do Barcelona defend? Okay, if you look at Barca's turnovers, they tend to, and the turnover is winning the ball in the opposition half, about 40 meters close to the opposition goal. If you look at how Barca defend, they defend very high up. They press very high. So their turnovers were number 5 in the whole of Europe. Okay. There was Bayern Munich on top, Lyon, Athletic Bilbao, Manchester City, and then Barcelona. Okay. When it came to high turnovers, winning the ball 40 meters away from the opposition goal. So that is in the final third. Okay. So Barca are very aggressive, pressing from the front. Okay. If you translate that to Barca's pass per defensive action, that is basically the number of passes, the average number of passes that the opposition will take before you act. Okay. So they use that like a pressing trigger start. Barcelona were on top, the whole of Europe. So Barca tend to press quicker than any other team, almost immediately, quicker than any other team.
They're press happy.
Exactly. So structurally, you can see they are doing the right things, and that is why they are winning the balls high up. And in fact, in terms of turnovers in the La Liga, Sergio Busquets had the highest. Now, if you look at where Sergio Busquets places, where his starting position is a bit deep, you can tell that this team pushes a lot higher because they are winning the ball around this area. And Sergio Busquets is winning it more than anybody else on the pitch. Now, this is how Barcelona started on paper. But what tends to happen was that Gavi comes in here. They create that box that they like to create to dominate possession. And then Balde tends to have the free run up and down here. So Barcelona also tend to focus on one side. So you see a lot of these clusters happening. Then they isolate whoever was here, be it Rafinha or Dembele. So this is my thinking on why I feel...
So it's overload and switch?
Overload and switch. And this line is much higher. So this is what I was analyzing, especially the goals they conceded, goals and chances they conceded in the Champions League. What I saw was...
This is your theory of how it happened?
Of how it happened. The Champions League teams were smarter, first of all. The quality is higher. What you saw against Barca, against Bayern Munich, and against Inter Milan, where Bayern and Inter didn't build from the back. They didn't play too many passes at the back because they know that once they pass this trigger, because Barca tend to be very aggressive in the final third, once they pass this trigger and they get the ball within this zone, the Barcelona defense is isolated. And I'm pinning it down to these guys, Christensen, Koundé, Araujo's individual stats in terms of winning his duels are very high. He does very well. But Barca don't have individually gifted defenders. So they tend to concede, a lot of their goals from transition. And that is smart because a team that tends to possess a lot of the ball, the only way you are going to get them is in transition. But you see the likes of Manchester City. So I compared it to Manchester City, I compared it to Arsenal. When you look at teams who are targeted in transition, Man City and Arsenal, and you look at the individual duels that their defenders are doing, they are actually good. So they are not as exposed as Barcelona in defense. So you see Ruben Diaz having and winning a lot of his duels because when the team is exposed and he actually has to do defending, he's defending it. But with Barcelona, with the exception of Araujo, Christensen and Koundé, you can't really not enough aggression, especially when the spaces are so wide because the teams have broken free. So you look at this, for example, and it's always good to give. This is Bayern playing from the back
against Barcelona in the group stages.
Exactly. So there are going to be 2 passes. Upamecano goes long, they win the first ball, and then you see the aggression with which the right back quickly wins the ball from what's his name? This is Baldi. So it's literally like 3 passes. So just watch how it progresses. Long pass comes in.
I just click the volume button there, the mute button. Mute it for me. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, why? Exactly.
Yes.
So Barcelona have lost the ball in this zone, and that's what I'm telling you. Once you be able to bypass that first zone into the second pressing zone,
look at
once
the numbers.
They win it, they're exposed.
Suddenly, Bayern have outnumbered them.
Suddenly, and it's literally one pass. It's literally one pass, and it goes straight to.
Now for Sadio Mane, he's very good.
And it goes straight to Sadio Mane, and the ball is in the back of the net. Now this reoccurred several times during the game, and several times during the season. Now this is Inter Milan against Barcelona. Okay. If you look at this, and those who watch the game will remember, what's his name? This is Carno wins the ball just in the center. Another transition, and this is where individual defending actually counts, because most teams who have a lot of possession of the ball, when they lose the ball in transition, they're a bit open.
Okay.
And when you have very good defenders, they can deal with the situations. But this is Lautaro Martinez against Eric Garcia in a one-on-one duel. And he's completely left exposed. This is poor defending. Any other team, Saliba will deal with this. Ruben Diaz will deal with this. Most of the top possession-based teams with very good defenders will deal with this. But Barcelona are left with an individuals in the back line who can deal with some of these petty things. And in the Champions League, you will pay for it. Now,
so there's an individual quality issue.
Individual quality issue. And teams have figured it out. Now, this is Man United versus Barcelona. Man United pressed, and I told you, it's either you quickly bypass the first press or you press them in the middle zone when they are left, when the midfield is very left, or the defense is exposed in the middle.
Okay.
So this is Man U. United are not really a pressing team. But in this game, throughout the game, they pressed high up and then in the middle zone. When Barcelona got the ball into the middle block, United pressed because there's space to be exploited. So this is Casemiro going straight. Keep quiet. This is Casemiro going straight, and it presents a huge opportunity. This time around, of course, Ter Stegen saved it. But these are some of the situational things that just shows how open Barca are. So my point is, this team structurally, honestly, if you look at how they play their football, for me, if let's say this was a Saliba, or this was a Ruben Diaz, or anybody around that, in that profile, let's say a Timber or a Disasi, somebody who is actually good at defending, physically strong, can close spaces quickly, I feel this Barcelona team, they will be far ahead. And what we saw in the Champions League last season, where they finished in the 3rd position, they go to the Europa League.
Get kicked out by United.
I think that if they're able to fix
so
this
they
backline,
are 2 good defenders away from reaching the next level.
I'm telling you, because look, this is probably the most difficult team to get the ball off in Europe.
How does the absence of Busquets affect the way they played last season coming into this new campaign?
I think, and I've said it again, I don't think they have a problem in this zone. Because if you watch Oriol Romero in preseason, he's basically being asked to do what Busquets was doing. Yeah. Of course, when it comes to intelligence, in terms of passing, he may not have the same ability. But he has a bit more tenacity, and he can close spaces a bit more better than Busquets. Busquets is smart, so his positional awareness doesn't necessarily need him to be running around and making tackles. But I think the system is working on this side, so they don't really have a problem with this side. Even in fact, in this side also, in the defense, when it comes to progressive play, if you look at these guys and their numbers and how they help in Barcelona building up from the back, they are one of the best. The thing is, you need to fix the vulnerability in transition, because it runs across every team that has possession, or every team that is very possession-centered. With Man City, with Arsenal, they face the same problem. The only reason why they are not left as exposed as Barcelona were in Europe last season is because the personnel at the back can actually defend.
So what does Xavi do here? Does he just ship out these guys and bring in new defenders, or how does he move this team to the next level?
The thing is, frankly, they don't have money. Okay. Barcelona don't have money, and they don't have the luxury to change this now. So I feel it's either they have to pray that Ter Stegen repeats that
top performance from last season,
or if they get a less difficult group than they did in last season's Champions League, where they had Bayern and Inter in their group.
That's tough.
Maybe they can progress, and of course, the lack of the draw can also help you. maybe you get through your group, you go into the round of 16, you go and face we've seen it several times. Maybe they can progress, but once they come up against the big boys are certainly going to expose them with these individuals' defensive abilities in the back line.
Wonderful stuff. Low budget Pep Guardiola. Well done. Sicho. Come and say that. Low budget Pep Guardiola. 4 months Pep Guardiola. Well done.
No, I'm Sicho,
your thoughts on that? Very interesting presentation.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. For anybody who thinks football understands what XGs mean, what percentages mean in football, would absolutely appreciate it. Few people question it because maybe there was no time for him to explain exactly what those things mean, but I absolutely appreciate it. I think Barca bringing in Inigo Martinez could be one of those. He loves to go in tackles. He's very physical. One-on-one, he can be good. He's not the fastest, so maybe the boy behind him could be a problem. But I think I've been on the same page with Danny. I've said it before that Barcelona's defensive outlook doesn't necessarily correspond with the goals that they concede. And they've been lucky at times. I also think that in the draw, as he said, they were not lucky with the draw.
So you're saying the goals they consider flatters the defense?
Yeah, especially in the league.
The defending is not that good.
Yeah.
They should be conceding more.
Yeah, and one of the things too that helps Barcelona is that they are able to keep the ball for such a long spell that the opposition is rushing at every single opportunity to score. There's no calmness. You know, when you dominate the ball for a while and you begin to create chances back to back, it settles the strikers. But when the chances are hard to come by, and you get that one, you have to snap at it, and the quality of strike is not great, you tend to rush your shots or effort sometimes. So I think that is why they won the league last season. They were not conceding goals, they were scoring. But the Champions League, the Europa League, the standards and the quality is a bit higher. Sure. When you play Bayern and Inter in the group stage, you can't afford to give the number of chances they were giving away, or the shots on targets they were giving away. So yeah, I'm sure Xavi realizes this. He will try and fix it.
All right, so a big credit to Xavi. He's got this team playing in ways that many people will be very jealous of. Another person that's got a team playing in ways many will be jealous of course, is Mauricio Pochettino. And Daniel is staring at me so sheepishly because he knew I was going there. This boy has been with me for so long, he can't predict what I'm going to say next.
You're enjoying that trophy, yeah?
But it's the truth. And, you know, Chelsea are pre-season champions. Obviously, they won the Premier League Summer Series.
Yeah.
A 2-0 win against Fulham. The first goal, Thiago Silva, thumping header. Second goal, of course, coming from Kunku after good work from Chukwuemeka. Zicho, and I'm going to throw this one off to you. It's not necessary. Chelsea have scored 12 goals in 4 games here in this pre-season. Obviously, everybody says, Jose Mourinho famously said, pre-season is fake. It doesn't tell the full story. But if you watch this Chelsea pre-season, as much as it is still obvious that Chelsea needs certain players to come in before they can become very competitive, you have to look at that and say, already you can see Mauricio Pochettino's footprints in this team.
Yeah, and we said that Mauricio Pochettino was a very good manager, and he loves to work with players who are young, who are fresh, who have got energy to burn. And so one thing that you realize about this Chelsea team during the preseason is that the energy, the intensity with which they play, the pressing, the quick transition when they've got the ball to counter. And when you see some of the chances that Nkunku actually created for Enzo Fernandez, they were so sharp on the transition from Sterling to Nkunku to Enzo, which he couldn't take throughout the whole time. And again, for Chelsea as well, during the preseason, they've had some players who needed to settle early, try and settle.
Yeah.
Jackson, he's got some goals, so I think it will settle him. Nkunku, he's got some goals, so that should settle him. Santos has been great in the midfield. Casadei has played well alongside Enzo. So a lot of these players have been good in pre-season. There has never really been any doubt about the talent in Chelsea's squad. The only doubt has been if they have what it takes to do this consistently when the Premier League starts.
Because young players.
Because when you want to play in the Champions League places or you want to win titles, you need to turn up every single match day and produce the results or the performance that give you the results or a win last week and keep doing it or grind it.
You need proving campaigners.
You wonder if they've got a character, they've got the longevity of the season mentally. Physically, they will have it. But will they crumble under pressure? We saw Arsenal and some of the players, when it was getting to the crunch time, they have not been in those moments before. So the quality, they've got it. But you wonder if it's a good blend of experience, youth, and ability to go on and do it.
Is that what has made it absolutely essential that Chelsea must get Caicedo?
No, I think the Caicedo issue has to do with quality.
Balance too.
And balance, of course. I think, Santos...
That's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at the Chelsea team...
Caicedo won't give you the experience that you also... And that's the thing. You see, Chelsea need Caicedo to come into the midfield too because of his quality and what he has. But bringing in Caicedo alone doesn't straight away turn Chelsea into a title-winning team.
No, obviously not. I don't think anybody coming to Chelsea will turn them into a title-winning team,
depends.
to be honest.
It depends. If Chelsea...
I don't think there's one player that can come into this Chelsea team and turn them into a title-winning team.
I don't think there's
maybe
one.
a couple of players. Maybe you give them Mbappe, you give them... I mean, sure.
Maybe you construct a new spine for them.
Yeah.
And Chelsea could go on and very much be dangerous because in the team, they've got a very good blend of players, all of whom are operating at a similar level, which means that when one drops out, the person who comes on isn't a big difference, right? All of them operating there. The point is, the level at which they are operating, would they be good enough to take them to titles? I think that is where they're concerned, but Poch is doing a good job.
Chelsea still need a goalkeeper, for sure. Because I saw that Slonina business went well. Even the Kepa business is not working. How much more Slonina business? So Chelsea need a goalkeeper. Chelsea needed a centre-back. They brought in Disasi.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him. Daniel, I saw your tweet when Chelsea signed him.
I love him.
You said that he's a brilliant player. We've got highlights of Disasi, have we not? I saw him at the World Cup.
Yeah.
In a game against Morocco.
Tunisia.
He was...
Yeah, Tunisia.
Tunisia, yeah.
Sorry. He was really good, wasn't he? But he immediately solves the Wesley Fofana issue, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think he just solves it. I think if Fofana comes back and he's still on, he might have a hard time breaking into this team. Now, what Chelsea have done, and I'm looking at it in the future sense, they've done brilliant business. Disasi is a late bloomer. Let's be honest. When
he's 25 now.
He's 25 now, and it's basically the last 2 seasons where he started playing at the level that has earned him this. But there are players like that, so you can't use that against him. But what Chelsea have done is the future of their back line already has an understanding.
Yeah.
But Yashili and Disasi have played together for the last 2 years.
At Monaco.
And they were brilliant together.
Yeah.
They have Rich James, who is young, and basically when he's fit, he's literally one of the best.
Probably will be named captain.
You look at the left-hand side with Chilwell, who still has some years to give. So in terms of the
on the right, Gusto.
On the right, Gusto,
brilliant.
Deputy, brilliant guy. So in terms of the back line, there's a lot of future in it, and I feel that's where Chelsea's quality lies the most. But look, Disasi is brilliant. He's strong. He's big.
Comfortable on the ball.
He's comfortable on the ball. He carries the... In fact, his ball carry reminds me of Rudiger. The side of Rudiger we didn't really see until Thomas Tuchel came in. Ability to pick the ball and literally use his muscle and his strength to bulldoze passes.
And also, apparently, he's injury-proof. Not being injured since he broke into the Monaco first team. But let's not jinx it.
Exactly. And for a defender, he actually has a very good shot on him. Now, I watched him 3 times last season. The first one was the Europa League group stages.
Yeah.
I watched it because they were playing before Man United, and it was Red Star Belgrade, Osman Bukhari against Monaco, and I watched that game. He was good. But the one I really took notice of was I think it was a quarter-final. Monaco against Bayer Leverkusen. In that first leg, he actually scored. He scored like a long-range shot. Look, he was scary in that game. Big, strong. Everybody knew that Moussa Diaby was going to be an issue. And that one-on-one battle, they hardly got into contact with each other. But any time they were in duels, you could tell that this is a defender who nobody wants to come up against. He's that good. So for me, I think Chelsea have got a brilliant size. And you see, wherever you sit, you have to understand that real recognizes real. Yeah. This guy was being chased crazily by Man United and Newcastle at the start of this transfer window. The only reason why Man United cooled their interest is because Maguire is staying. Yeah. They can't bring him in once Maguire is there. Other than that, Man United would have gone for him. So
the quality is not in doubt. And Chelsea have a brilliant player. Chelsea have also signed a certain Leslie Ugochukwu.
The guy is going back on loan.
Is he? Yeah, honestly, I've seen him, and I'm looking at the midfielders that Chelsea currently have. That kid can easily play. He's tall. He's very, very comfortable on the ball.
He's highly rated.
But that's the thing, though.
He's got great technique.
You don't want to throw some of these young prospects into the pressure. It could very much.
How old is Enzo Fernandez?
He's different.
You see, that's because he won the World Cup.
You're not going to look. You can't judge.
You won't have every Enzo Fernandez. That's why Chukwuemeka hasn't said. That's why that for Fana hasn't been great. He's been sent on loan. That is why Madueke, struggled. That's why Mudryk struggled. But Enzo came in straight away. He looked like he had been there with the team forever.
Okay.
So you can't always. And Enzo Fernandez.
So Leslie on loan.
I'm not too sure what the plan for him is.
No, it wasn't the release.
Yeah, obviously, if Chelsea do think that he can go
said he's going alone anyway.
Going on loan,
going alone.
Yeah, but I think the plan would be that, like I said, you don't want to throw him into the pressure of the Premier League.
And it seems like a player Poch didn't know much about in the sign because he referred to himself with some French guy.
Yeah, you can understand there's a scouting back. But look, quick one on Chelsea, okay?
Okay.
I feel like they've done it before, first of all. Let me say they've done it before. Where
don't give us false hope.
Relax. Where they don't have fixture congestion.
Yes.
They're literally playing one match.
I knew that's where he was
going. No, seriously speaking, Pochettino is good.
Yeah.
If there's anybody who improves players and has a proper track record of improving the level of players, it's Mauricio Pochettino.
True.
And it doesn't matter if the player is 26 or the player is 19. We saw what he did with Dele Alli. We saw what he did with Son. We saw what he did with Eriksen. Because those guys were all
he introduced Kane
when he came in, but they were not as highly rated until he took over. He literally elevated their level. Yeah. And we've not seen that Eriksen since Pochettino left Tottenham Hotspur. Mourinho came, shipped him out, went to Inter.
He's uncoachable with that Poch.
Look, so Poch is that good. He knows how to pick and get the best out of players. And my point is, if he's able to take it game by game, look, you are a new coach. We can already see by preseason that the structure is being learned. They are getting the structure. What I saw from preseason is that if Chelsea can fill in some of the positions with much more quality players, this team is dangerous. This team is dangerous.
I mean, I've been very impressed with Jackson because honestly, I didn't think that he had it in him because the reputation he came with wasn't really that big, but he's coming and he looks like a player that is ready to go. I don't think Chelsea have had that kind of striker.
Still,
like I've said, over preseason they've looked very exciting, but the Premier League when it starts a different ballgame.
Of course.
And for me, can they maintain consistent performance that takes them to titles? That is where the big ask could be. And for me, I don't think that for any huge club that doesn't play midweek games, it's proving to be beneficial to any of them.
Okay.
When I look back, I've not seen anything really that misses out of these midweek games, because those midweek games, take it or leave it, it polishes a lot of these big teams. It gets them going. It keeps momentum for them.
Maybe the first half of the season, but the second it doesn't.
The second half is just a nuisance.
The second half of the season, that is why we've seen teams winning the double. That's why we saw Liverpool going to all finals.
Because they have depth.
Because they were. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying
is the season they went to all those finals. The following season, what happened?
No. So there are consequences. But what I'm saying is, for huge teams, the second half of the season, these competitions actually gives them momentum. We saw it with City last season. Many were saying that they were competing in FA Cup, Premier League. It could be a distraction. It gave them momentum. We saw in Man United when they were bossing the EPL, also doing it in Champions League, right? Guess what? As soon as Arsenal exited from the Europa League and had to focus only on a game every week,
they were beginning to struggle.
They were beginning to struggle a little bit. And there's something about that. Real Madrid, when they were going all out to win the Champions League, they were not missing out on La Liga all the time. It would take them like 5 games before Barcelona would be confirmed winners. There were times they were doing the double. Juventus the same. They'll go to Champions League final and win the league. So for huge clubs, there's a way they are able to keep momentum with midweek fixtures.
Question. There are reports that Chelsea have open negotiations with the Juventus to get Lukaku to Juve and take Vlahovic.
I'll take that.
It's not even a question.
I'll take it.
Fast.
Chelsea should hurry and make it happen.
I'll take it. Vlahovic is still very young, 23 years. When he's fit, he will score. Chelsea creates lots of chances. Looks like it under Pochettino. Mm-hmm. He'll be in and around the box. Right. And I like the fact that Jackson and Vlahovic and Nkunku are 3 very different players.
Yeah.
Manager chooses who does the job depending upon what the opponent is.
You're watching Sports Zone on Joy Prime. I'm Fen Toyota here. I'm here with Daniel Koranteng and Sichufe Philip Atrim. We started the show a bit late. We apologize for that. But as compensation, we have 10 extra minutes.
Oh, lovely stuff.
We have 10 extra minutes, so we're going till 10 after 10.
Brilliant.
Here on the show. So I've got time for your messages, which I welcome on 0551 575757, 0551 575757. Also on Twitter, the hashtag #8SportsZone. We'll be getting into Man United and Andre Onana. Some people say we're blowing it out of proportion. And we'll show you the Barcelona-Real Madrid game. So my producer, please remind me so I don't forget. And there was a big boxing fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford over the weekend as well. We'll try and get to that towards the end of the show. But time now to read some of your messages. Of course, this show, remember, brought to you by Syntex Tank. And I told you, Syntex Tanks were the first company to introduce double layer water tanks. And now you can have as many layers as you want, as different colors as you want. And they offer you 7-year warranty, the most in the market. So if you have water needs, make sure you get a Syntex tank. Also sponsored by Hunters, another quality product from our good friends at Casapreco. And of course, Casapreco bringing you this other really quality product. Whatever your refreshment needs are, whether on a cold evening or on a hot afternoon, or every time you sit down to chill with friends, just make sure that you get yourself a Hunters. The women love it, the men love it, Daniel loves it, and you know, it really is. It's one of those things that should make it into your refrigerator, into all of your parties, and what have you. But let me read some of your messages now. A lot of you are talking about the low-budget Pep Guardiola presentation. I can't wait for that name to stick.
I'm Mikel Arteta. I'm not Pep.
You know, this one says, he was basically complaining about that us starting 20 minutes late, and he says 20 minutes must be added. Yeah, Benai, find out from the one who gave you the 10 minutes, they can add another 10 minutes because that's the only way we'll do an hour. If not, the repeat cry hour, because the repeat is 1 hour. If we don't do the show 1 hour, problem. This one says, hello friend, good evening to you and the team. Our only option on Mondays obviously is Sports Zone, so our 20 minutes must be added to the show since the 1 hour is not even enough for us. I concur in the message. I'm also a viewer of the show, so me too, adding my voice.
Quick.
Exactly, so please, we need those extra 20 minutes, we beg. And it says, the continuation of that message says, I think Chelsea are doing well in pre-season. I hope they perform even better during the league proper. What Onana did was obviously needless. He's just capitalizing on the fingers pointing at Maguire and reacting towards that. That's Ben in Nungwa with that wonderful message. This one says, I don't understand why Real Madrid in these few years continue to disappoint like that. You can cast your mind back in the last few years. Whenever Barca is on form, they score Madrid 4-0, 3-0, and so on. But whenever Barca is not on form, and instead of Real Madrid tearing them apart, they will still allow Barca to continue disgracing them, and that makes me mad. I'm a Chelsea fan, but my second team is Madrid. Fred Apia from Swedro is not happy.
And the Madrid and Barca game is a typical example of what we saw last season. Mm-hmm. The scoreline wasn't a proper reflection of the game. When you look at the fact that Real Madrid were striking the woodwork about 6 times. Yeah. They were so unlucky in the game, and Barca were not defending great. Vinicius was having a field day, but in the end, the scoreline says 3-0, so you think they blew them off. That wasn't the case.
Just a good point. Richmond from Nyanyano says, good evening. I don't think Onana would have done that to Maguire if he was still the captain. It's a strange, unexpected moment for Maguire, but I think this might get him pondering over what might have gone wrong and get back to his best. Use the hashtag SportsZone on Twitter. I'll be going there very shortly, but I'm still on WhatsApp now. So, Tajuddin from Sawaba Tamale says, good evening to you guys. This season transfer window is something else. You don't know what to expect. But Onana, who is he to talk to my general captain like that? He should be very careful, or else Maguire will score own goals. It's a fair warning. It's a fair warning. I really appreciate you guys for staying with us and tuning in to the show despite the late start. It just shows that you guys are the absolute best. Like, Sports Zone audience are like the best. You guys are Sports Zoners. Sports Zoners. And I absolutely love my Zoners. I love you guys. Steve from China says, good evening, friend. and Sports Zone. We're enjoying every bit of your program. Everybody should watch out for Chelsea next season. We're coming back for that, for what is rightfully ours. My regards to all Chelsea fans inside China. Castro, Steve,
own something
from China with that message. What's rightfully Chelsea's?
I'm asking if they own something because I'm not sure what they really own.
11th place.
Are you the all-time Premier League?
Please, they want to win the
FA Cup.
Yeah, you see, you are overthinking that thing.
Yeah, I really am.
What is rightfully ours, he says.
Which is...
Let him define his...
Please go on. Please, whoever sends the text, I'm very interested.
Castro, Steve, from China, in the Upper East region.
Well, I know him.
I beg, drop your rightful thing.
Castro is my guy.
We got a message from Ayamiga Robert in Elubo, in the Western region. He says Chelsea will definitely be crowned champions of this pre-season. That will be a very good thing to me as a United fan because they will never notice their loopholes till the transfer window is closed. Oh, why are some people like this? Oh no. Pages in Suhum says, good evening guys, I hope Chelsea will do wonders this season with this squad. This one says, good evening friends, I'm shocked United, they think they can give me Maguire a chance, then I should know better. Okay, all right, cool, interesting. They shouldn't give Maguire a chance. All right. Hello, friend. My name is Sade from Cape Coast. I've never understood any lesson analysis better than what Denike did moments ago. Absolutely spot on. Yeah. Good evening, Sports Zone. It's obvious Chelsea have gotten the talent and burning desire in our current youngsters. There have been a lot of quality display, but I think we will still need some of the big boys to keep us going. In conclusion, I'm impressed with our new team. Hashtag Pride of London. Francis KFC at Kanjaga in the Upper East region. We have a lot of viewers from the Upper East region, and I love every single one of them. This one says, please, I'm beginning to get scared. My team is losing players and have completed only one signing, and that's Man City from JD. JD is scared Man City won't do well. You don't know Pep. Ask the low budget version, he'll tell you. Good evening, Sports Zone. The hype is too much for Chelsea, but hey, yeah, Matson guy is super. Ahmed Uche with that message, I'm guessing from Nigeria. But yeah, Matson was he won preseason.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He won preseason.
He played everywhere for them. He's very versatile. And
this one says, I agree with low budget Guardiola with the analysis and I love it, but he forgot we had injuries with our top defenders in the Champions League. Garcia, Alonso, Roberto, and good profile defenders, and we're exposed in the UCL in the absence of Arojo, Christensen, and Koundé. The problem is the profile and depth of players on the bench. I think this analysis should be done on various teams every week. Brilliant stuff. All right, low budget Guardiola getting some plaudits. Hi, good evening. I'm Sadat from Kataman. So please, has Disasi completed his move to Chelsea? Yeah, all paperwork signed. He'll be unveiled, I'm sure, later this week. Freedom Fighter and Aguna Suejo says he wants Liverpool update. All right. And this one says we should create a WhatsApp group and add him. It's
that's a no pass.
We don't have a Sports Zone WhatsApp group, but maybe I'll think about it and create one. Boyson Jr. from Cape Coast said Daniel is intelligent. And this one says, good evening, Barcelona will make it this season. That's Paul. And this one says, Stevens is my name from Seshi. He says, please update me on Mbappe. Mbappe is still a PSG player. He's not going anywhere. Guys, Manchester United were in action against Borussia Dortmund in a friendly game. They lost that by 3-2, but the biggest talking point from that game was Andre Onana going absolutely ballistic at his former captain, Harry Maguire. Now, ordinarily, in a competitive game, that would not make news because it happens. Players scream at each other all the time. But this one, there was a whole conversation on it on TalkSport. It was crazy. These are highlights of the game itself, but this is the incident. So Maguire makes a mistake. I really want to see the mistake. But Maguire makes a mistake, and Onana is fuming. And people are saying that he's just targeting the guy. He's already not in a great place, and it's like, what are you doing? It's a friendly game. I said, nobody's going to die. So what's all that? Is that just for the cameras? Sijo?
It's three things.
Okay.
Onana has that character about him.
He does have that reputation.
He does everywhere. So the Man United fans, players, everybody who assisted with the club should get used to it. For so long, they've been used to a goalkeeper who doesn't have that personality, right? Who doesn't scream at defenders, who's not trying to be the boss at the back to call the shots. They will see a lot of that from Onana. That is one. Secondly, it is normal in football that a goalkeeper calls out or players call themselves out on the pitch.
Absolutely.
Very normal. So it's not out of place that whether friendly, competitive fixture, whatever it is, Onana thinks that Maguire has made a mistake and is calling him out. It's normal. Peter Cech does it to John Terry, Van der Sar does it to Ferdinand, Casillas does it to Ramos, Valdez does it to Puyol, Neuer does it to Boateng.
Yeah.
It happens, right? Richard Kingston does it to the Rock of Gibraltar, John Mensah. So it happens. So that is second.
Okay.
3, Onana should have been a lot more intelligent emotionally.
Okay.
Because the player in question is Harry Maguire,
Yeah.
who isn't in the best place at the moment.
Mentally, he's taking a battering.
Mentally, form-wise, his position at the club, whether he's going to leave or stay. If you are a little bit emotionally intelligent, you're going to realize that even the mistake he's making is probably because of where he is.
Right.
And that is why you are a teammate. That is why you are a team. You can address the same issue, but in a different way, because it's Harry Maguire in this situation.
Also the passing involved.
If that is Lisandro Martinez, he actually kicks on the chin.
It makes no news.
And tells you, I got you. I get it. I own up. If that is Shaw.
And this makes no news.
Makes no news. If that is Shaw, Shaw actually tells you, yeah. Because that is Maguire, and you are his teammate.
He dropped the shoulder.
And
you saw that.
You know all the conversations around him. You protect your teammates by not going, off him like he did. So there's nothing wrong with the goalkeeper doing that. That is Onana's character. But Onana should have, in that situation, with Maguire involved in the picture, been more intelligent emotionally.
I have more of a serious problem.
Okay.
Bruno didn't play.
Okay.
Who captained the team?
Well, Maguire didn't captain the team.
It was Mark Tonto.
Yeah.
Ten Hag.
McTominay.
How can you give the captain's armband to Mark Tonto when Maguire is there? It's a preseason
You
game.
cannot go from Maguire to McTominay.
No.
Like, what's the point?
No, my point is, you see, your first choice is not there. Second choice, there was no leader on the pitch.
And for Maguire, who has led the club
Give
before.
it to him.
But it's just no. But Eric Ten Hag is also trying to send a strong signal to
But
Maguire.
you won't be captain again.
No, you are just not in my plan.
Okay, he's just
not in
give
the
it to
plan.
Onana. Why Mark Tonto?
They cannot be a nana.
How can Mark Tonto be captaining Maguire?
McTominay, please.
No.
McTominay.
Tontoli. How can he be the captain and Maguire sitting there?
That's Rashford.
Did you see that Mark Tonto was in the shot?
Yeah,
He was running away. He was running away from Onana.
McTominay should come and talk to
They should show the
Onana.
thing again. You see Mark Tonto, he saw that the guy is coming and he turned his back and he was...
McTominay should come and talk to Onana. Onana will slap him.
Osro. Mark Tonto, give me him captain.
Barcelona beat Real Madrid. I don't know if we have the highlights. They beat them by 3-2. It was a crazy game. But I've got more of your messages here. Producers are telling me that my time is up. But I really want to read some of the messages here. This one says, you guys are really good with your submissions. Keep up the good work. That's Eve Russell in Santa Maria. This one says, please, guys, why is it that no team is approaching James Ward-Prowse, such a good player? That's Randy from Brecum. James Ward-Prowse.
Will buy him and keep him on the bench when it's time for free kick.
James Ward-Prowse, he will do a good job at the top 6 club, to be fair.
I think he will.
Yeah.
It's not better.
This one's from Romeo in Manso, Antwerp. He says, I hope you guys are really making my day. My team, the Blues, is not really ready yet. If the fans start believing in the team, then they will have the 12th man. I'll tell you this. Mohamed Salisu is going to replace Disasi at Monaco. Southampton have agreed a deal with Monaco for £17 million. Salisu will have a medical at the club later this week. He'll be unveiled as an AS Monaco player. So he doesn't want to play in the championship. Remember, Southampton are relegated. So he's off to France, playing in the French league alongside Gideon Mensah, Salis Abdul Samed, Ali Deseydou.
Gideon Mensah is in League 2.
Yeah, they were relegated. That's true. Thank you for that. Yeah, but Salih's Abdul Samad.
Well, why do you sound disappointed?
Yeah, it hadn't sunk in yet.
No, you sound disappointed.
It has now sunk in. It has now sunk in. Anyway, so there's that. That's our show this evening. Thank you so much, all of you, for staying and tuning in and for all of your messages, even including those I wasn't able to read. I still appreciate your time. I was here with Daniel Koranteng, CTO for Philip Stream, so produced by Benaya Dafiamapo. My name is Fentio Tahiro Fentio. Until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.